Hello, my name is Louis Jacques.
And I'm Matthew Stewart Jackson.
And this is the Tank Podcast. 2 actors, no kids.
Where we are flipping the script on modern masculinity.
And that we are. Oh man, today's episode is a big one today.
This is a big...
Yeah, this. Let me explain something to you people. This is a big one. We are putting everything on the line right now.
Yeah, we're being vulnerable.
Yes,
this is,
very much so.
This is, as you could say, a very sensitive topic.
Yes, it is. It's very sensitive.
And we'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's do our little check-in.
Okay.
What this week made you grateful to not have kids?
What made me grateful not to have kids is to be able to wake up and no one's screaming for me to get them breakfast. Or they lost their toy.
Mm-hmm.
Or just anything crazy. You know, I hear the stories over and over again where, you know, parents don't get enough sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize, and I've seen it with my own eyes, the kids are ready to go.
Yes, I was one of those kids.
And when they're ready to go, you need to be ready to go. 100%. You can't kind of shut it down, because the issue you have is if you go back to sleep, mischief is a brewing.
Yeah.
And anything can happen. I mean, it can be anything from small, like they bumped into something or whatever, or now the house is on fire. I'm just saying, you shouldn't have gone back to sleep. Things happen. So I'm grateful I actually got to wake up. My eyes popped open by themselves, and I said, you know what? You want bacon today?
Just a state of peace.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm telling you. I woke up out of bed, had a little stretch, was like, yeah, this is life.
Nice way to
So that was my child-free moment that I thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah, that's great.
And yourself?
Mine is, honestly, it's that I do not have to discipline anyone. I was working at Sweet Palette this week, and 2 separate families came in at different parts of the day.
Okay.
And they were just... These kids were not well behaved, and one set of parents were very good about like shutting it down. I'm like, no, we do not behave like that. The other set were like, no discipline at all, and I was like, oh, no wonder this child is like this.
What did it feel like? No discipline, or did it feel like they just gave up?
They gave.
I have to ask this.
That's fair.
Legit
it was towards the end of the day, and so they'd probably been disciplining all day, and they're like, I got none left. I got nothing left in the tank.
Children have it.
Yeah.
This is your life now.
And I became so grateful that I was like, I do not have to discipline anybody in my life.
For sure.
Like, I'm not in charge of discipline.
For sure.
Like, obviously, my spouse is a grown-ass person.
Yes.
You know? And like, if they make a mistake, they say sorry. And, like, I don't have to be like, you did this wrong.
Yeah,
you need to, you know? And any kids that I take care of, like if they do anything wrong, I was like, oh, I'm gonna tell your mom.
Yep.
Like, I don't have to be the one to punish anyone, and that feels great.
Moms and dads are being told. Like, we are snitches, people. So, kids, if you listen to this, we are snitching.
We are.
I don't have time for your drama. Your parents will know.
On narcs.
Go ahead and bother me. Your parents will know. Matter of fact, I'll write them a letter. I'll go old school with it. And attach it to your clothes.
Little sticky note on the back.
Tell you gotta be real sometimes. That's fantastic.
That's where we're at in terms of why we're grateful to be child free.
Grateful.
So should we get into this topic?
Yeah, for sure. I'm ready.
Before Louis and I started this podcast, we both were like, okay, we need an episode about this because Louis has done this long before we started the podcast, and I had not yet.
Yes.
But when we first started, but I have done this now. So Louis, will you take it? What is this episode about?
This episode is about vasectomies.
Vasectomies.
The snip.
Or as my father told me, the unkindest cut.
Oh, such a great line. Now we bring this episode up because we're not we're not telling a bunch of guys you need to go get vasectomies or anything of that sort. This was a decision that we both decided to make. Mm-hmm. It's part of why we do Tank, 2 actors, no kids. And we are true to what we mean. We really don't want to have kids.
Practice what you preach.
Yeah, and it's not you need to go out and get vasectomies. No, it's not that. This was our choice.
Yes.
And this was my choice and a long decision to come for quite some time. So we want to put that out there.
And I also think part of why we wanted to do this episode was to kind of clear the air a little bit and talk about like misconceptions or things that like people think like, oh, I don't want anybody like down there in my business, you know.
Oh, they're gonna be in your business.
Oh, they're gonna be in your business.
Oh, in your business.
But they hear the word vasectomy and like, oh no, I'm not doing that. Like it's like, first off, man up. Like, come on.
Yeah, get a vasectomy. Like it's not
like
yeah.
If it's the choice between you getting vasectomy and your partner being on birth control their whole life.
The whole life, dude.
Like, come on. Take one for the team.
Yeah. And
so we wanted to do a whole episode about our experiences.
Yes.
Because A, it's going to be very funny.
Yes, it will be.
I think it's a good platform to kind of talk about like, hey, guys, really, it's not that bad.
Yes. And I want to say this. We both had the same doctor. But very different stories. just want to explain. Our stories, and I don't want to say huge difference, but different enough.
Huge different enough.
Different enough.
But like, how wild is it that like, okay, first off, how long ago did you have your vasectomy?
Mine was in, if I'm correct, it was June of it's been almost a year. Yeah, it's been almost a year, yeah.
Okay, I thought it was a lot longer ago.
No.
Okay,
no.
okay.
The decision to get it was a long time ago.
It didn't took you that long.
Yeah, it took me a little while to be like, hold on, what are we talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Snip is real. So yeah, it took a while. So this is why we're telling the truth. Because people need to understand, you might make the decision. That doesn't mean you're gonna go in there like, humpty dumpty dum. No, that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. A lot of things.
You might feel a little humpty dumpty.
Oh, I tell you. So basically, let me. I'm gonna get into the story of the vasectomy. But go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say you are the seasoned vet here. You have a year under your experience. So tell us your story.
Okay. So basically, I talked with my wife to decide it's that time to get a vasectomy, and I can explain why later.
Yeah.
So it's time to get a vasectomy. So I go and see this doctor. Mind you, we see the same doctor. We're going to keep the doctor's name out of it, but it's the experience of this doctor, which what makes this story so insane. So when I go see the doctor, and you get an original
consultation.
Yeah, consultation.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious to me. You have to get a consultation for this. It's hilarious. But I go get the consultation, and when I walk in there, the doctor goes, okay, well, you're ready to have a vasectomy. He's like, yeah. And he's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure. And then he commences to tell a story of how he was late to get his own vasectomy. And now he has a 2-year-old that's driving him crazy. And I'm over here like, it's not a good story. Like, I don't understand, sir. If you do vasectomies and give people vasectomies, how did you miss the opportunity to get a vasectomy?
Why were you so hesitant to get one yourself?
It's crazy to me.
Do you know how bad it is?
Oh, it's
like, is that the problem? Yeah.
So he commences to tell the story or whatever. And once again, just reassuring me, making sure I'm sure. So now we get into let's call it the presentation of the goods. That's a good way to put it, right? The presentation of the goods. So as we're presenting, and he's in there looking, I'm looking down going, sir, you chose this. You chose to look at PPs.
This is your line of instruction.
This is a grown man, and he's a doctor, so I get that, but this is your life. And then you sit there as a man and going, what am I doing?
Yes.
Like, what is this? But it's part of the consultation. That's what it is. So we're leaving the consultation. Now, this part of the story is why I go, this doctor must be a nutcase.
He's a nut.
Oh, yes, I was a nutcase. So we're leaving the consultation, and the nurse tells this man, hey, someone called and said that they wanted to talk to you because you saved their son's life. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's so crazy. It's so wonderful. This doctor, the doctor I'm going to see goes, he lived? And I'm in my mind going, who did my wife send me to? Like, is this man? Now, mind you, he's not saying it in a way like, oh, I can't believe, or shocked, like, I can't believe, like, he should have died. It was more of, like, he was actually kind of like, wow, he lived, and it was a great thing. It didn't sound like that when I was there. After having this consultation, it didn't sound like that whatsoever. So now we're leading into it's vasectomy time.
Oh, boy.
I go to get a vasectomy. Now, mind you, you need someone. You don't need someone there.
You don't need somebody.
I apologize. You don't need anyone there.
You can drive yourself.
There's a choice.
Yeah.
You can have the awake vasectomy and be awake for it all, or you can have the put me to night, and I will wake up and it's done. I wanted all parts of this. I don't know why I chose this, but for some reason I needed to be sure that there was nothing funny happening. What funny was gonna happen? I don't know. I felt like I needed to be awake.
They just like implant something in
Yeah,
you.
so like I don't want them to lose their phone in me. I don't know. I don't want anything bad to happen. So I'm like, I want to be awake. So
okay, let me ask.
Yes.
What would you have done if something bad were to happen while you were awake?
Couldn't tell you. You're not in a position.
Yeah. Like, what are you gonna do?
You know what's so funny about it? I think I hear that question and go, this is fight or flight.
Yeah.
Neither of these apply. Because you can't, there's no flight. I'm gonna tell you right now. You are just out there.
Yeah.
And there's no fight. Once again, you are just out there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I really don't know.
Honestly, I think I would have preferred to go under. It's like go to sleep, wake up, and it's done.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't choose that is because once again, this nutcase of a doctor said if you're awake, 15 minutes in and out.
Yeah.
If you're asleep, we can take our time, go get some coffee. No, I don't want you to waste your time, sir. I need 15 minutes in and out. And I think that's what made me choose.
Efficient.
Yeah, I need you to just get this done with. So I go in and get the text and you take your clothes off, this and that, whatever. In this room is the doctor and two other doctors that are there, right? Yeah. Two other doctors that are there. Did he put on music?
No.
Oh, I had music.
You had music?
What? This man came in there with a playlist. He was ready to work. And he played Gladys Knight. He played Shaka Khan. A little bit of Aretha. Like, he's playing all... Like, and it's hard because I love all this music. I'm not prepared. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be in music mode, and I'm not. Because the goods are out there. I should have said this, right? He then goes, okay, cool. I'm going to, I got to numb the area. Cool. Now, numbing it means that, if everyone knows, it means a needle.
Yeah.
So he takes a needle and stabbed me in the goods. And I go... And this doctor looks at me and goes, dude, it's a needle. I said, I'm sorry. Was that not the reaction for when you stabbed me? Like, it made it seem like I was supposed to just man up and take the pain. Like, understand this, that was a normal reaction. Don't look at me and shame me for taking a needle in the goody goods. Like I was supposed to be fine. I'm crying right now, so he would have known. So he does the stab. I go numb. He does the cutting. When he gets to the other side, for me, it's numb. So you don't feel anything. The issue we have is so for people to understand, when I say it doesn't hurt, besides the first stabbing, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't. It definitely feels like someone is tugging at your goods for... It says 15 minutes, 4 hours.
Yeah, it is the longest 15.
It's a lot of tugging, and I'm not, we're not doing this for anyone to feel uncomfortable. This is the truth.
Yeah.
There was a lot of tugging, and those regions of tugging, it's not fun. My leg kept shaking. Don't know why. I couldn't stop it from shaking. And he kept saying, your leg's shaking. I don't know what you want me to do. I can't stop it. I'm not doing it on purpose. My leg is just shaking. And, you commence to, kind of continue whatever. And he's doing his thing. He goes to the other side, does his thing. And now we're near the closing of the vasectomy. And he's like, okay, cool. It's all said and done. Mind you, they put stuff on you, some kind of the
iodine.
They put some gel whatever substance on you.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, well, you can sit up and, and get yourself together. Here's where it gets crazy. I sit up. Now, he should have covered the area. The work area is what I'm calling it. I sit up, I look down, it's like a murder scene. He was like, you ever see that scene where Freddy Krueger comes out the bed? And I know people know what I'm talking about. This is what it looked like. And I'm like, I think I lost too much blood. It should be woozy at this point. And then, and then he's just like, oh, he has a little vial. You want to see it? No, I don't want to see it. We're done here. We're done. You put your your shorts and stuff back on or whatever. And you commence to drive home, and then, you got to take a shower, whatever, but, stuff is, leaking out everywhere and the whole nine, whatever. And then you spend the rest of the day sitting on
an
ice pack or frozen peas or whatever choose you meat if you want.
I was going to say frozen peas.
Frozen peas,
would
yes.
be a very appropriate thing to sit on. It's frozen peas.
Yeah, not frozen peas, frozen peas. But yeah, and then you do that or whatever, and that was it. Once again, 15, 20 minutes or whatever, and you're back home, and they give you medicine just in case there's any pain or anything of that sort. To be honest with you, I didn't feel any pain afterwards. I just felt like the journey was way more than the ending. Like the ending, it was all said and done.
Mhm.
But the journey, I'm like, this is a wild ride.
Yeah.
This was a wild ride. So that was my vasectomy story, everyone. And like I said, and I said this to everyone, it wasn't that bad. I know the story seems a little crazy, but to be honest with you, it wasn't that bad. It didn't hurt for me. It was just an uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah. While I had the same doctor,
Yes.
I had a very different experience.
Which is hilarious to me.
I was okay. So there was no music for me. I was not given the option to go to sleep. He basically said, like, no, it was a local anesthetic.
Even when you arrived again, did you even bring it up or anything, or no?
No.
Okay, cool.
I was like, because at that point, I was like, I don't want to take way longer. I'll be out the whole day.
Yeah.
I was like, so like local anesthetic.
See, I told you this doctor was a nutcase. He didn't even give you the option.
No, he didn't give me the option.
Crazy.
So I get in there and get undressed, do everything. I'm sitting there waiting. He comes in with his 2 other medical staff.
These 2 guys don't do anything. I just want to, like, they don't, like, they not that they're there staring, whatever. Maybe they're learning, but I'm like, you don't need 2 people in here.
Yeah,
but whatever.
It did feel like overkill.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he's in there, and maybe what it is they're like his talking buddies. Because all he was doing was talking about how he had booked a first-class ticket to Australia on like Qantas Airlines or something.
Focus much, sir?
Exactly. I was like, first off, okay, now we understand why you chose this line of work.
Gotcha.
Because you can afford to fly first class from LA to Australia. So that is a lot of money. He was like literally telling me how much it cost. And so I was like, okay, yes, you look at men's junk like 5 times a day, every single day.
And get paid.
And you get paid a lot of money. Okay, I understand that. You do it for the money.
15 minutes of work.
15 minutes of work. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But then he was telling me basically about how he had missed the deadline, and the prices had gone up. And so now I had to pay double. And
see, now I don't mean to cut you off. I'm hearing that this man has a problem with deadlines. If anyone's picking up on that, like, you know what I'm saying? There's a vasectomy deadline. There's a trip deadline. Like, this doctor is ridiculous right now.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Okay, so what he had told me during the consultation was that, like, the worst part is going to be when we numb you.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally fair. Needles going.
He did say that to me.
Oh, he told me
Hilarious.
that. And he was like, yeah, that's going to be the worst part. It's going to feel like I'm taking your junk and I'm squeezing as hard as I can. Yes. And I was like, that is accurate. I was like, okay, that's the worst part. Great. It was not the worst part. The first side, because for those of you who don't know,
there are 2 sides.
There are 2 sides.
For 2 reasons.
2 sides to every coin and 2 sides to every package, if you will. And so the first side went totally fine. Very smooth. Okay. No issues.
Gotcha.
It was exactly as you described.
Okay.
Oh, let me preface this by saying I went to Lewis for the rundown. I was like, okay, talk me through this. Is it that bad? I'm going next week. I'm getting mine done. What do I have to worry about? He's like, no, it's fine. Like the actual procedure, there's a little tugging. It's uncomfortable, but it's really not that bad. Yeah. Also, the worst part is when they stab you. I was like, great. Okay, good to know. He's like, during the actual thing, no pain. I was like, great. So the first side, that was totally true. Okay. The second side, oh boy. Which
is insane to me because the other side should be numbed already.
It should be numbed. Yes. And I asked them afterwards, I was like, okay, what happened? Because that was some of the most excruciating pain I have ever been in. And they said, well, sometimes there is a nerve. And basically after that, I stopped listening because I was like, you just hit a nerve. In my junk. And
we were not told this.
Yes. Neither of us was told this. Yeah. It's like there is a nerve that if things are too close together, sometimes it can get a little pinched. And so basically they had to like pinch this nerve to get where they needed to perform the vasectomy. Wow. And so for honestly, it was probably about 30 seconds that felt like half an hour of them pinching this nerve to get where they needed, and I was drenched in sweat. I was shaking. I was sweating. I sweat through the piece of paper that's on that bed. Oh, wow. It was like all tatters. It was like the paper was all like soaked. And they said, okay, when it was all done, they're like, you need to lie here for a minute, recover. And they're like, we're so sorry. That was so painful. That usually does not happen. And I texted Lewis afterwards. I was like, that was way more painful than you had let on.
Listen. That was not the thing that happened to me. Wow.
So we want to still advocate for vasectomies. Get slow, but know that this can happen. Where, especially like when it was the second side, where I was supposed to be all numbed up, but there was one nerve in there that they hit, and it could be very painful. As soon as it was over, I was done, and like there was no pain.
Yeah.
As soon as the pressure was off of that one nerve down there, I was fine.
Gotcha.
And the rest of the day I was fine. I iced a little bit. I took some ibuprofen. That was it.
Yeah, I was
no
like,
pain.
Recovery time is pretty simple and easy. Yeah.
Very easy.
Yeah,
Easy. However, I have to relay this hilarious fact. Like a couple of days after this vasectomy, I had to leave for work. This is actually work at the theater.
Okay.
And so Ella and I were both going to to work the show, and 2 minutes before we're supposed to leave the house, we're both sitting on the couch, like hanging out with our cats. One of my cats decides to crawl on my lap and step right on the scar where they cut me open. Not just in the general area, but right on that scar. Boom! I thought I was gonna throw up.
The cat stepped on the goodies.
The cat stepped on the goodies.
Wow.
Direct pressure. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think I turned white. Ella was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? I was like, I think I'm gonna throw up. I didn't, thank heavens. But I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, in so much pain. We had to leave for the theater. And I was like, oh my gosh. I took some ibuprofen. Ella was like, I'm driving. You sit on an ice pack. I sat on an ice pack all the way to the theater. I was done. I was like, okay, we're good. So I... Like we got there, I knew it would dissipate very quickly.
I understand.
And so I got to work, I was totally fine, did my shift, I was easily done. But my cat, I swear to God, good thing he is so cute.
Gotcha.
Because I was so mad at him. I was like, dude, why did you have to step there?
It's so funny because that's the first thing I thought of. It was like, we have 2 cats.
We have 2 cats.
Once the cat stepped on, we would have 1 cat. Like, what happened to the other cat? You don't even want to know. Like I'm saying? But I also understand it's not the cat's fault.
It's not.
Yes, it's standing there, whatever. But in your mind, you go, the cat's a goner. The cat's a goner.
And to his credit, that cat knew immediately he had done something wrong.
Gotcha.
And felt and looked very sorry. And he was like, it was very, very sweet and cute. And I know it wasn't his fault, so I have no resentment. Sure. However, that is a hazard. My dad told me that when he had his vasectomy, I was 1 year old.
Okay.
And he was like, I had to be very careful about where you were crawling.
Oh,
like,
wow.
No lap time. Like,
wow.
I was like, well, at least babies are a little bit more predictable and way less fast than cats.
Yeah,
and like cats just jump up and like land on you. Yeah, babies at least give you some warning at that age where they're going. So that was my vasectomy story.
So cool. Not cool, but I mean, it's great that we can share this story. We can share the story together, but then also, like, you know what I'm saying, give you an idea for what a vasectomy can actually feel like. Yeah. I mean, once again, it's not, everyone's going to be different. I do say that it is not the most painful thing.
No.
But I think there's a thought on why to do it. And before we even get into that, one of the things was like, I felt like this vasectomy was a good choice for me.
Yeah.
And, and it's been leading up to years kind of figuring out or whatever. And like I said, I didn't dive into it. But it was definitely the choice that I wanted to make, and I'm happy with that decision.
That's awesome. And part of that, of like kind of why we each decided that this was the right choice was talking with our partners and getting to the point of being child-free. And we'll, like on a separate episode, we'll get the wives in here, and we'll have a whole episode where we talk to our spouses about our collective decisions to be child-free.
Yes.
But for I'll give you a little teaser of that.
Okay.
My wife and I were not on the same page for a while. Like, Ella was open to having kids.
Yeah.
And she was kind of 50-50 for the longest time. And I had said when we got married, basically, I was like, as soon as you say you don't want kids, I'm getting a vasectomy. Like, I'll do it. You don't need birth control anymore. You don't, like, let's take it off you. And she was like, okay, good to know. And then last year, she said, okay, I'm at 100%. I don't want kids.
Wow.
And I was like, great, let me book it.
Yeah.
And so I booked a vasectomy.
So fulfill your end of the deal.
And then, so I went last year to get the consultation.
Gotcha.
And then got delayed over the holiday. I was supposed to get it on January 6th of 2025.
Gotcha.
And got stuck in Washington State over the holidays and missed that appointment. And then called them and they're like, yeah, we can't get you until May. So I was like, right. So we got that. And then... but it was really about as soon as she was ready to say she's not having kids, I'm like, I'm there. I'm volunteering.
Gotcha.
And that way she doesn't have to worry about like any of the female birth control side effects that
Gotcha.
can happen. And
Gotcha.
we'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, for sure. And I'm actually glad you brought that because that was my reason as well. Me and Denise had a talk and discussed it. And for years, she was taking birth control. And then I'm like, why would I keep having to go down this path?
Yeah.
Like, why would I have to go down the path of with any woman, birth control, IUDs, like all these things, whatever, that, alter the physicality, alters side effects are different for everyone.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just like, okay, it's time for me to man up.
Yeah.
And go, no, like you've done your part all these years.
Yeah.
It's time for me to go, okay, cool. Especially if you're at a decision to go, we're never going to have kids.
Yes.
Then why keep putting her through that? You know what I'm saying?
Or if you've had your kids and you're done.
Yeah.
Why do you want to make your wife take
for sure
birth control for the rest of her childbearing years?
Like no one wants to do all that. So sure. I totally agree with that. And once again, great decision for me. So. Yeah. And for her as well.
All right, now it's time to go off topic.
Yes.
And it is time for Lou Vents. Vent at me, Lou.
Lou Vents. So let me tell you something.
Rant. I'll tell you something.
So recently went to a trip to Baltimore, and I love Baltimore. Baltimore is a fantastic city. Great food. Just everything about Baltimore is great. The issue I'm realizing is every time I go to Baltimore, it rains. I might as well be in Seattle. Like, I don't understand.
Is he pretending to be Seattle?
Why? It's like it rains all the time. And I say this because, and I know people are going to, well, did you check the forecast? Forget you people who are saying this. I don't check the forecast because as far as I'm concerned, we're almost in June. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's been hot in North Carolina for quite some time. I brought sun clothes. I brought t-shirts. I brought jeans. I was ready. It rained the entire time I was there. Literally, we're walking outside. My boy has a coat on, and I'm like, nope, I didn't bring a jacket. I'm going to walk in the rain. And that's what I did. To show the weather gods that I don't care about your rain. You know what I'm saying? And I was annoyed. And I feel like every time I go out there, it's just never like sunny. Like it's always kind of dreary.
It just feels like it's moody that you're there. It's like, oh, Lewis is visiting.
Maybe I'm going on the wrong time. People are probably going to, chime in and go, you should come in on this time. I want to come when I want to come.
I want the weather to reflect how I'm feeling.
No, I try not to be there during the winters because I know winters can be a little brutal there. And not extremely brutal, but I've been on the winter in the East Coast and I'm not trying to do that anymore. Anyway. Yeah. But I mean, like Baltimore, talk to the weather. Get them to get it right. I need a few more sunny days because I'm going to go back. And when I go back, preparing the same manner. I'm not going to check the forecast. I'm just going to go. And what will be, will be.
And I want to hear Lou Vents, the sequel, about your second trip to Baltimore and how rainy it was.
Hopefully I won't have a venting session. But I'll find something else to vent about. I know that for a fact.
You always have something to vent about.
Oh my goodness, that is so funny. So that is Lou Vents. Baltimore, get your game up. Okay. Before we end, we want to go back to what we were talking about, and it's the vasectomies. You've written down, what are the top 3 reasons to get a vasectomy?
Yes, I wanted to do this because this is a little advocacy, I wrote down kind of the top 3 reasons to get a vasectomy as part of like advocating for this procedure. Because partly it's about men taking responsibility for your partnership.
Yes,
that,
for sure.
That like don't put everything on the female. So I would say the first reason to get a vasectomy is that it is very effective. It is the most reliable form of birth control available.
I agree.
And it is, other than other people's small children. That is the most effective form of birth control. You will never want kids.
Put a bunch of kids in your house.
Nope, never having kids. But in terms of pragmatic birth control, it is much more effective than condoms. It is more effective than the pill. Even IUDs. It is more reliable than IUDs. Yeah. So it is very effective. It is also very easy. It takes 15 minutes, literally, from start to finish.
I want to say it all depends on the person.
It all depends on the person. Okay.
But he's right. It's easy. I joke, but it definitely very easy. And 15 minutes is not a lot. You can do it on your lunch break.
Yeah. And
I wouldn't suggest that.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
But you can.
Literally could. You're in and out of the office within the hour with all check in, check out, all that.
For sure.
And I actually got my vasectomy and then taught an improv class that night. So it was boom, super easy. The recovery time is so quick.
Yeah.
It's not like any other surgery where you're like in a sling for. Oh, could you imagine having a sling down there? That's a great mental image.
Oh, that's what you want.
Little banana hammock down there.
Hilarious.
But the recovery time is very easy, and the third one is that it is way less invasive than the female counterpart of getting tubes tied. Or
for sure. Oh, definitely.
And other forms of female birth control, they affect your hormones.
Yep.
They mess with the balance of your chemistry, and if you're on it for long periods of time, turns out that puts you at much, much higher risk for osteoporosis.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, I learned that like right after my vasectomy. That
Gotcha.
as I was kind of researching of like advocating for vasectomies, why should I do this? And part of it is that a lot of birth control can really mess with your bone density, and people who've been on birth control for long periods of time are like exponentially at higher risk for osteoporosis.
Gotcha.
When they're older.
Okay.
And so if
these are good reasons.
All these good reasons.
Yep.
And if your partner can stay off of the pill or not have an IUD and do that, and you can take all of those effects upon yourself, why not do it?
Yeah.
And I wanted to put in one honorable mention.
Yes.
It is cheaper than any form of birth control that's out there. Basically ours were both covered by our insurance, so I paid $80 for like a copay.
Gotcha.
If you do not have insurance, I think it's about $1,000.
Yeah.
So if you don't have insurance, $1,000, but over the long run, think of how many condoms you're buying over a 40-year period.
I will not divulge that information, but spent quite some money.
But also, how much birth control do you need to buy? The IUDs without insurance, those are anywhere between $700 and $2,000.
And mind you, they have to do them. Although we're talking about a year span, you still got to get that done and pay that out.
They still add up, And so it's basically the cheapest form of birth control over the long run and the most effective. So that's my little advocacy push.
And I would like to say this, man. If you get a vasectomy, be sure insurance will not pay for it to get reversed.
Yes.
They don't mind you not having kids, but you wanted to pop out kids, that's your fault.
Yep.
That is your concern. We don't know the cost of reversing it, but we know that it's definitely up there.
Yeah.
To reverse a vasectomy.
So you have to be sure.
And it's timely too. So you have to be sure. So once you get a vasectomy and then you're like a year down the line, that's not going to work well. It's not going to go well. So just be mindful of that. Understand the relationship that you're in, whether you're married or not married or whatever. And especially if you're not married, that's a big decision. It's a huge decision because if you get with somebody and they want to have kids, understand the situation. Yeah, there's other alternatives, but you want to be mindful of that. Yeah. There is no going back, people. And mind you, do you really want to go back? I can imagine that procedure. Ooh, I'm good.
That's no.
So good.
After that first one, I'm done. Yeah. No, we good. So all of that is I've been waiting this whole episode to say this one line.
Okay.
But men, grow a pair. Get a vasectomy. That's all I wanted to say.
Don't put the onus on your partner to make sure that you're child free. Don't put it all on her.
Yeah. This is a team effort. Take one for the team. And if you can get rid of all of the risk of having if you can take on the responsibility of birth control by getting this one very simple procedure, why not do it?
For sure.
For sure.
So this was our vasectomy episode.
The vasectisode.
I hope you got a lot out of it, because I know for sure we did.
Oh my gosh.
My name is Louis Jacques.
My name is Matthew Stewart Jackson.
And this is the Take Podcast.